Welcome everybody to the Service Learning Orientation. In the next 20 minutes or so, you're going to be watching a couple clips on the orientation. But before I get you to look at your packet of materials, which you should either print it out from the Moodle website or obtain from myself in the department or the other faculty coordinating the service learning site, let me just give you an idea of the context why we're making you jump through the hoop of doing a service learning orientation early on and filling out the application paperwork. This day and age, we're a lawsuit happy society. And when you're working with people, especially people who could be vulnerable, that could be children, impaired adults like mentally handicapped adults, or vulnerable elderly, those populations in particular, when you're working with them, the organization you are working for, be it paid or voluntary, it's their legal responsibility to make sure the clients are safe. And just a simple example, we do work with our church and do Bible study, and every so often we have to go to a full 3-hour orientation on child abuse and child safety and reporting procedures, and we have to pay X number of dollars for a background check. This all has to be done before we can do our little 30 or 45 minute a week thing with 7th graders, a class. That's really important in this day and age. We don't want adults working with kids who have a history or propensity to do the kids harm. So, and it's not just working in settings like the example I gave you, but in the school settings, in school districts these days. Even volunteers have to go through an orientation and a background check. And this is even expanded more to really any of the modern agencies that provide services to people in need. It could be the Wamblee-Wachoni teepee, the courthouse, the school district, mental health, social services, and more. Those agencies require that both their regular employees and their volunteers are well-oriented, well-screened, and very appropriate for working with clients. So now we'll open up our packet and start looking at the details therein. You should have in front of you, downloaded either from the Moodle website or picked up at my office, the service learning packet. And I have it in front of me here. It's about 15, 16 pages. You should have the packet. You should also have contacted me before watching this video to get the password to take the online quiz. You'll do the quiz after watching this video. The quiz is just 15 simple questions. It'll be a way for you to evidence your understanding of this video, the material in it. So I assume you have in front of you your service learning application. We're just going to thumb through pages and I'm going to point out highlights that you should key in on. Also, during the course of my presentation, I'm going to drop in some sort of oddball comments which will pertain to the quiz. So pay attention to some of those comments because that'll be some of the trick questions on the quiz. For example, what's the name of my husband? His name is Milton. That's one of your trick questions on the quiz. So let's go ahead and proceed. In your packet are presented a number of items. The first is the mission statement for the Human Services Department. The second is a description of what is a service learning class. I want to emphasize there's 3 classes and they're all capstone courses. At the end of your sophomore year, you take HS 290, Service Learning 1. At the end of your junior year, you take HS 390, Service Learning 2, which is the Lakota Culture specific site. And at the end of your senior year, you take Service Learning 3, HS 490. On the first page of your service learning packet, the descriptions for each of those levels are provided for you. And it's really important you read over the descriptions. Level 1 is more observational. Level 2 is Lakota site specific, where the primary emphasis will be affiliating yourself with an organization or an activity, the primary focus being culturally relevant services. The third and final level is your advanced service learning site, and that's where you have responsible, direct, complex client care. And it's important for level 3 to be mindful that you will be required to buy liability malpractice insurance before you can step foot in the agency or organization and start working with clients. So that's in page 1 of your service learning packet. Is description of the course, the overall series of courses, and the 3 courses that we require. Why was the service learning packet updated, and why are we implementing it now? We've been doing so the last couple semesters. Well, there's several big reasons. One is the human services discipline, the governing bodies, National Organization of Human Services and Council on Human Services Education, they require that we properly screen and orient applicants to our classes. Secondly, it helps the department, our department, the service learning site that you would work, and you as the student to plan ahead. And thirdly, we are going through this because it's the ethical, professional, and legal thing to do within human services. At the human services, at the associate's degree level, 1 placement is required, that's 290, and for the bachelor's level, 2 placements, that's 390 and 490. The one level that you can apply past relevant work experience is level 1. That's mentioned in the course description. Looking at page 2 in your service learning packet, the top part of that page talks about expectations for you as the student. What does the site expect, and what does the university expect? And we have identified there the 4 virtues of the institution that are displayed on Sinti-Gleshka University's shield. So it's really important, particularly we focus on the virtue of generosity, because service learning is an experience where you give back to the community in gratitude for your educational experience and all the support the community has provided.